Is this where my life is right now? Really? Really, really? Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Sunchild Tarot. Now this is a reading for, general reading, general-ish, for Taurus Sun with Taurus Moon or Rising. So, double Taurus. Now, like a general reading, all the normal general reading things apply. You know, roles can be reversed, timing's not absolute. But this reading either is for you or it isn't. There is a past and a present in my reading, and if the past and the present do not fit, don't try and make it fit. Don't just take the one comment out of it that resonates and everything else means nothing. If everything else means nothing, neither does that one comment. Now, when I do a reading for a client, I like to ask them to have a question in their mind. So pause the video if you have to. And just be aware of all the questions that are around you. Choose one of them. Focus on it, because energy in, energy out. Now, I'm not going to guarantee the cards will answer that particular one. So be aware of all of them, because they'll answer what they please. But focus, energy in, energy out. Have a quick click of the subscribe button while you're here. And let me bring the cards up. I'm assuming you've asked your question already. So swap the camera. So in fact, I'll go to the big camera because, well, I can explain the layout. But firstly, the overall energy of your reading is the Nine of Pentacles. I'm seeing abundance in this. I'm seeing standing on your own 2 feet. So yes, it is can be quite a lonely card, but I'm not feeling that loneliness with it. I'm feeling that sort of capability, self-capability, self-awareness, self-knowledge. Cards as a guide, 10 of Wands, the Tower and the Chariot. So things are going to change. And let's be honest, things are changing for you right now. We have a Tower card as the final outcome here as well. But I have a distinct impression that this is a good thing, that things are coming around to get rid of a lot of crap, to be quite honest. So let me switch to the camera. Yeah, so there was obviously a burden that you had taken on board, and that the reasons, plural, for you doing that have started to crumble recently, and you are in motion, or you are about to be set in motion. And I know it doesn't necessarily feel like that, because touching on the present is an immense feeling of hanging around, waiting for answers, waiting for that waiting can only go on for so long. That waiting is starting right now, and I believe that there will come a point where you just lose patience with it. But let's have a look what this situation is talking about, because some of the oracle cards flipped over while I was shuffling them, because you will see my shuffle video appear any moment here. So, yeah, this burden that you've been carrying with that 10 of Wands, it's for other people by the looks of it, or for promises that you've made yourself. There's, I'm seeing in the oracle cards deceit, envy, but door to spirit. So you are coming up to a time where you can cast aside a lot of these negative, not negative emotions, negative events, negative influences around you, because unless you've been deceiving yourself, I don't think that deceit is from you. I think it's at you. The envy I've yet to figure out. We'll see as the reading progresses. But the other two are Isis, magic manifesting. Your dreams, visions, and goals are becoming a reality. So Yeah, that change is coming. But the other thing is that you have been manifesting all along, and that's something we need to remember. We have all been we're all manifesting constantly. Um, but that burden that you was carrying, you're not. There's either somebody who is not as devoted to you as you were expecting them to be, or you have not been as devoted recently to carrying this burden. I don't deal with reversed cards. I try to put them in the deck back the right way up. It came out reversed. Devotion, Krishna. So I think it's almost like you've been going, right, is this where my life is right now? Really? Really, really? It's time for a rebirth. You need to come into your own power, but there's still burdens that you are constantly working to either carry or get rid of, because we've got the Knight of Swords. You've already decided that you need change. You're just waiting for that change to actually happen. But some information is going to come to you that will make you go, yeah, it's time to change. Now, I believe that you may have already known this, because you're recognizing that there's a new start, but you don't know everything just yet. All right. So that implies to me that there might be a little bit more information to come to you. So you may well have learnt about this deceit and this lack of devotion. And that's why you're hanging around and waiting, because there's certain things that you need to find out. And the world, you're ready to move, and you're ready to move to a whole new place. Well, it's the TV tarot, and it's a rather badly drawn Doctor Who with K9 that looks like a Dalek. But the emphasis is there, trademarks and what have you. They've had to be careful. There is a whole new time coming for you, a whole, because we had the Chariot as well, a whole new social circle, a whole new job environment, maybe even an actual house move, or certainly a life move, whether that's philosophy, relationship, friends, social circle, job, house, whatever. There's a move coming, and you are ready for it, but you've got to wait for the world to catch up, and you've got to wait for some more information to come through to you. Yes, use your intuition at the moment, and you're quite capable of dealing with everything that's going on, but you haven't yet decided quite where you're going next, and that needs to be sorted out. You can't just go, well, stuff it, I'm off, and head off blindly into the sunset, not knowing what direction that you're going. Wait until the inspiration hits. Yeah, wait until the inspiration hits, and then make efforts. Your motion, the Chariot can be a fast card, but here I'm just getting motion. I'm not necessarily getting fast. I'm getting more complete. This is a big change, a big move that you're doing. As I said, family, work, social circle, whatever. But it's a big change. Big changes like that will take time, and they will take balance from you, where you're itching at the what's the phrase? You're champing at the bit to actually start getting a move on, but you've still got burdens that you need to put down. So yeah, you're waiting and you're feeling quite isolated, but stick to your guns. That's one thing I want to say. Stick to your guns at the moment. Yeah, you may well be on your own, but stick to your guns at the moment. There is hassle and conflict around you. Let that sort itself out. You just need to stand back from all of that, because the time that you're coming into, that motion is coming. All right. So just be patient, keep your eyes open. Two moon cards, so definitely listen to your intuition, and definitely be aware that the balancing that you are doing is as much for inside yourself as in all the tasks that you need to do in life outside. Yeah, Ace of Wands. So that fiery inspiration is definitely coming for you to deal with. But there's going to be a certain amount of pain of things that you are letting go of. but you need to stick to your own rules, because those are there are commitments. There are people who are committed around you to you, despite that lack of devotion card. So you just need to be aware of use your discernment, use your intuition, who's on your side and who isn't. By this point, everything's come out into the open. That card's saying exactly the same thing. Right, now the cat wants letting out. Please bear with me. I swear I should change the channel name to Let Me Just Let the Cat Out Tarot. So, this balancing that you've had to do recently, it has got to a point where, you've had enough. And that's before this recent revelation. You were finding it quite difficult. But Wheel of Fortune, there's an opportunity that showed itself to you. You had a chance to take it, and I don't think that you did. But now you're like, it's made you start to go, what if I had? What if I had gone that way? This is recent, by the way. What if I had gone that way? What would my life be like today or what would it be like next week if I decided to go for this? And it's made you look at other options. Let's have a look at what's happened in the distant past. I say distant, relevant. This area of the reading, these two piles, are a relevant past where you've learned a lesson that you are using right now, for good or for ill. Okay. All of these, the first pile is saying when you was in a really, really happy situation. This is happy, happy, happy. We have Six of Cups. So there's that family, there's a bit of nostalgia, but there's the family community. But here, it's also that you were in need and you were looked after. And there was emotions that you had to deal with, but a whole new dream way of life was presented to you and protected for you. You had you were given a firm, stable base. You had wish fulfillment and the sun was shining. So you have had a lesson that things can go right. Let's see what happened next. And then it all changed, and it all changed for the better. So even when things are going well, they can still get better. So that is an interesting lesson for you to remember right now. There was a time when you, although that nurturing period lasted as long as it did, there was a time when you went, right, I have got to step out to a whole new beginning, a whole new way of seeing myself, because I can't just be stuck in the nostalgia of things. I need a new dream to follow and new place to play in, new garden to play in. And you had that. But over time, this recent crumbling and learning of the deceit, it's not the first time it's happened. You had that whole new beginning. You had that good background and then a whole new beginning where things got better. But there was a point where you started being blind to a lot of things, whereas because everything seemed to be going so well on the outside, but you was feeling maybe that it was your responsibility to be looking after everything, and cracks were beginning to show. I'm not saying that this new and better time, the better time in the past is the one that you're in right now. You might have had an intervening stage, but recently cracks had started beginning to show, and it's almost like there were knives in in your back from somewhere, and you set plans in motion to try and deal with all of this. But I think those plans went wrong. I think you had, yeah, those plans went a little wrong, and you ended up having to be a little more aggressive than what you'd intended. Or by your nature, you're a Taurus, you might have been a little more aggressive than you intended. But your roles had to change and everything was changing around you. And even though there was completion, and there's a 10 of Cups here that I really don't like. I normally like this card. But this particular 10 of Cups, no, it's giving me the shivers. You had everything that you wanted and you went, oh, crap, this is what I wanted. And you look back and go, yeah, that's what I just worked towards. This is what I tried to bring into being last week. And God, that was a silly move, wasn't it? And this is what's led you up to the deceit at the moment. There's still things that you're not seeing right now, but there's more a point of things that you haven't seen that have recently come apparent. And your own inner light was ignited at that point to set you on this new path that you don't know where it's headed. You just know you want a new path right now. That's coming to you. That illumination and that drive to move forward is coming, but you've just got to be a little bit patient right now. So these two are a future, these two piles. Either want to grab or want to avoid, because what's the point of prophecy if it ain't useful? By invoking your power and taking mastery of the situation, be very, very careful what you bring into being and what you authorize, what you allow, because if you're not careful, the changes that you elicit right now can bring pain. Just because a path requires strength, this is actually advising, you know, the phrase, take the road less traveled. This is advising do the opposite, because you've got to be careful about what burden you take upon yourself. Now, there was mention of a burden that's going on in the present. So I will ask you to consider, do you really want to keep that burden, to still be hefting that burden in a year's time? There's, in the skies at the moment, astrology-wise, there's huge opportunity for change. So take it, use it, bring that change about. I know you're frustrated at the minute, but that chance of bringing the change about is coming. Even if that burden remains, there will still be plenty of options, but you cannot let yourself be too imprisoned by anxiety to take them. Things will take time, and decisions that you are taking now, like that 2 of Wands that I saw somewhere over here, it will take a little bit of time for those decisions to come round into being. But your dreams are forming. You might not yet be out of the fire. This is what a lot of these are saying, but there will be a point where you will thrive on some of this fire, but change will keep coming. Yeah, just be careful. Take the option where, take the least burdened option. So how you're feeling at the moment is a little bit isolated and a little bit at the whim of the mercies of fate. And yeah, you're feeling that there's you have the strength to get through it, but there's too much hassle around you and you don't need to go through all of that. But a little bit of hard work and your efforts will be rewarded. You just have to remember to stick to your principles, because that's one thing I was saying here. I feel like when you was the burden and the person providing, guarding, whatever your role was, it was something that you were doing for others. there was points where you were having to do things that weren't in line with your natural instinct, with your natural code. Um, and I don't mean that in a hocus pocus way. I mean your own code of honor, your own moral code, your own, and you let those things slip because they needed doing, and when all said and done, Taurus are practical. People are already seeing that you are wandering away. Okay, people have felt this emotional detachment. Two Eight of Cups. But someone around you also thinks that you're right, that this is what you should do, because there's information that they're going to bring to you, and they're believing greatly in your capability. Yeah, you've been wounded by everything that's going on, but you're in a good place now materially. Keep being in that good place. Keep. No, that doesn't sound clear. You are in a good place right now materially to launch onto this new journey. That makes more sense. Right, because it looks like you want a little bit of fortune to come your way, but there is help that is out there for you. There is, like I said, there's at least one person that is going, go on, mate, you're doing the right thing, crack on. And information will come to you, a new direction will come to you. And I know you might be a little, where's the new direction going to be? Because you don't know right yet, but the details are already forming in your heart. You just need to keep yourself open. You will be traveling towards it. And some of the arguments, like I saw with the deceit and envy here, they're going to be reduced. I don't think the people who have done this are necessarily disappearing out your life. There was only one King of Swords in all of this, which for the amount of cards I've got here is quite surprising. But it wasn't one that it was one that had the wisdom whether to cut or whether to not. Okay, but you can reduce conflict to just a good-natured rivalry. You know, it's always going to be there. It is always going to be there, but you can make a joke of it being there, and you can get the person who you have this rivalry with to laugh at that and get them to see it as a joke as well, and it make it all a lot more good-natured. But yeah, change is coming. Knowledge is coming. Part of that burden, it's not going to disappear, but it is going to become a little bit more compact. And there are people who are committed to working with you, committed to assisting you, and clarity is coming. So that, like I said, there is more information to be seen. So let's have a look at the... Right, with everything that's been going on, the angel of being, my soul rests in the truth that my being is eternal. You know what I was saying about you've let little things slip that you wouldn't really, if you had the choice of following your own code, that you would have gone along with these. Who you are has not changed. What you do may have changed a little bit, but it doesn't have to stay that way. Be bold and make the first move. So yes, you need to be stepping out on this new path the minute that you see the choice, but there's more information to come to you yet. One of the oracle cards wanted to give me decks wanted to give me 3. Balance. You can balance this new path with the commitments, that burden that you have right now. You can reshape that burden. You can make it better for you, make it more compact, make it more manageable. You have a commitment. There was a 4 of Wands in there of someone who can assist you with this. There's a 5 of Pentacles somewhere as well. So there is that assistance there. But it's time for you to see the beauty in stuff again. Time for creation. Look deeper into what you are wanting. Deep within me is a majestic radiance. How very hippie. But it's true. All you need is to see that direction. Now, your own inner compass of that's right, that's wrong, that's, well, it's not exactly right. It might not have been wrong, but it wasn't right. That compass has always been there, but it's very, very awake at the moment. Wisdom is coming to you for you to know what it is that where you're heading. Be aware of something. Okay, this is weird because normally this obsession card's a bad card. Shiny. And the rabbits are not supposedly a great symbol, but I'm seeing fertility, something that fires a little bit of an obsession in you, something, one thought that you can't get rid of, has a clue to where this new path is going to be. But there is plenty crumbling around you. You are waking up. It is time to use your intuition. It is time to create that whole new path for you. There is forces that will work for you, both in the world and within. You know, there's quite a bit of emotional resolution going on in all this bit. Enlightenment is coming, and by your example, you will be inspiring somebody else. That is a lovely reading. I know it's hard work at the minute, and more to the point, it's tiresome at the moment. But you're exactly where you're supposed to be. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to do. Where you were not abiding by your own code earlier, that was world, spirit, whatever, testing you to see how devoted are you to your own code. One, I think the answer is very, very devoted, but you had to put that to one side. Two, how good is your code? Is it a good code? Is it a silly code? Is it code that won't serve you very well? All in all, I think the code's a good code, but there may be a few sharp edges that need polishing off. And that was what some of that experience was there to show you, is that, yeah, the code is great. You don't have to stick to it 1000% of the time. And yes, I know that's an over exaggeration, but that's the point. Sticking to it 100% of the time is an over exaggeration sometimes, because it is not being fluid. And you, because Taurians aren't known for fluid, are they? And yes, it is in your nature to remain stuck in this one code, but ever so often the code needs updating. There's no point applying laws about the movement of goods in the 1600s, or the movement of even mail in the 1600s, to something like Facebook or Google. You need new laws to deal with Facebook and Google. So you will need some new laws for your new situation, but that's going to come in time. Enlightenment, where's that card gone? There, is coming your way. So if this means anything for you, please do comment down below. Press subscribe while you're there. And in the meantime, keep at it. You're doing fine. You're doing okay. Cheers.